Hi Gemini, welcome. So today we have, as you can see, a major Gemini reading placement. So Gemini placement reading, they're same difference. So this will include Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North and South Node, but not limited to those. Even if you don't have Gemini anywhere in your charts, we can all embody any energy at any time. So I do hope you are doing well, and if not, I hope to bring you some love, light, healing, clarity, and confirmation through this reading. So thank you so much for joining me, and without further ado, let's get right into it because I definitely know how important time is and energy, and I just thank you so much for being here. So let's get right into it. Spirit, please connect me in with the energy of Gemini, please. All those watching this video, please have a super specific, accurate message for them at this time. I'm gonna do this really quick. Hold on. And we'll do once more. Okay. Oh, no, not yet. Spirit, please connect me in with the energy of Gemini. Please allow for super specific, accurate messages to come through. Thank you so much for all that you do for me and the collective, and allow for them to have the discernment of messages for them and what is not. Thank you so much, Spirit. Alrighty. Spirit, what do you have to say to Gemini at this time? Holy Spirit, what do you have to say to Gemini at this time for the highest good of all? I do not take reversals, just saying. So reversals are not going to be acknowledged most times. So we have the Five of Cups and the Eight of Swords. I hope you don't mind our guest Yui, our bird. So Nine of Swords, okay. We then have the Queen of Wands, Four of Cups, and we also have Judgment. Oh my goodness, it scared me. She flew right at me. She likes to dive bomb. Okay, so let's see. For Gemini, oh my goodness. Hold on, I'm just gonna pause for a moment. Okay, well, we're just gonna continue on. So, Spirit, Holy Spirit, Source, God, what do you have to say to Gemini at this time? Please allow me to channel accurate, super specific messages for all those watching. So we have the Moon and the Strength, or the Moon, Six of Cups, and the Strength card. We then have the King of Swords and the Chariot. I mean, look, we already have the Four of Swords at the bottom, like, that's insane. Okay. Spirit, one more for clarification. Allow me to understand exactly what you are trying to say to me and the collective at this time. King of Wands, okay. Bottom of the deck, Four of Pentacles. We're gonna shove this right here. Alright, I'm gonna tune into the energies for a moment. Give me just a split minute. Split second? Minute? Yeah, more likely. Don't we love the background noises? um, so I'm definitely getting you dealt with a lot. I feel not going your way. I feel that whoever I'm speaking to, you have a lot of maybe regrets about situations where you put too much time and effort into things. You lost a lot, perhaps in friends and stuff like that. I feel to a certain extent like it's interesting. I've never gotten this message before with this card, but it's like all these swords are your friends, and it's like you're keeping yourself trapped with these people who honestly don't have the best interest for you. It's like these swords could cut you at any time. They're there just to kind of intimidate you. Um, I do feel like because of this, it's like, see, all these Eight of Swords goes into the Nine of Swords. And I feel like the Nine of Swords is almost representing from the Eight of Swords. It's like all these friends, what they say, what they do, what kind of, maybe even spiritual attacks that they do to you with back talking, or like not back talking, like speaking illy over your name, like behind your back, like because words are very powerful, and the things that we believe and say, it does have effect. So we have to always contribute that to our thinking and remember that. I do feel like there's just that extra sword there because it's like you are so ridden with what happens. So, I mean, it's interesting because I feel like the Queen of Wands is you. You are a quite sufficient person. You go after your goals. I feel like you're not like a lazy person, even when you're sitting down and doing quote unquote lazy behavior. You're not lazy. You're do everything with meaning. You do everything with a passion of some sorts, I feel. And Four of Cups, it's like I feel you may be a little bit stuck in a, I don't want to say a victim mindset, but a regretful mindset, dwelling too much on kind of the negative aspects of life, because whether we want to accept it or not, every life and every part of life has a equal mix of good and bad, and even that itself, it's like what is labeled good or bad, it's just simply how we react to it, how we feel about it, you know? So I feel like you're focusing too much on viewing these maybe past experiences and even your current reality as something that is kind of unfortunate. You may be feeling like at a loss, you're tied up, you're um, maybe a little hurt or mad at the universe, but it's like you're still doing what you need to, and if not, they're kind of reminding you that if you have not already taken the initiative into leaving all this baggage behind, like I feel like it's more mental baggage. I do feel like it's maybe friends of some sort, or just people who kind of make your mental state all wobbly. Now this can even be yourself, and it may be both, but take it how it resonates. It's Spirit's asking you to not further take this mindset, and instead move towards one that is, you see it through Spirit's eyes. Now I just noticed all these people are like bluey gray, you know, but Spirit up here has all these colors to them. So it's like when you look through Spirit's lens, it's no longer black and white. It's no longer just good or bad or any of that. It serves such a different purpose. It's saying these circumstances led you to make you who you are now. They allowed you to learn something. They allowed you to be prepared for the next step, and the next step allowed you to prepare for another one, you know? So I feel like intuitively you know this and you're being asked to look within, look at those subconscious fears. If you're disappointed, allow yourself to feel disappointed, but don't allow yourself to get stuck in that disappointment. Like if you lost a friendship, let's say, and they really meant a lot to you, you can grieve that. It is healthy to grieve that. We are human, we have these feelings for a reason. But on the other hand, you have to remind yourself that you're not a bad person for doing this. You did exactly what you needed to, and you were following Spirit's direction. And if this has to do with things that you did not following Spirit's direction, just having that confirmation, like that realization that, okay, I didn't do this. It's that acknowledgement. When you acknowledge that, it turns to something more. It transmutes the energy into truth and realization and acknowledgement. And through that, you can go into a new area with new knowledge, So we should never allow ourselves to get caught up. And if you find yourself getting caught up, don't feel bad about it. We all can get kind of tied back into our old habits, into what we know and what we've been programmed to kind of be accustomed to. Um, I feel through this you're gonna find quite a bit of surprise, and it's gonna take a bit of strength, but I feel like it's like, oh, that's cute. It's like your higher self is gifting your younger self, your 3D self, I feel, this gift of wisdom, love, and knowledge, and understanding and acceptance. It's like you will only ever know yourself the best out of anyone. Like, you only know yourself. What am I trying to say? Getting two things mixed up here. So, you can only know others as well as you know yourself, or know them as deeply as you know yourself. And in the same aspect of you will be the only person to know yourself as deeply as you do. That's another thing. There we go. So it's like, through this, you have to really fight to become strong in your spiritual aspects, in every aspect of your life. You have to fight for the divine to be there. Not fight for the divine to be there, but you have to make an effort, I guess. And I suppose fight in this aspect is even a metaphor of just putting that effort through. You're pushing on even in rough circumstances. King of Swords, right under the Queen of Wands. That's interesting. Because it's like we can sometimes have counterparts, but they're not even like in the same, is it the suit? But they're completely different entities, Wands and Swords. Like, Wands is, like fiery, but I also put that towards like earth energy, while like dirt type like vibes, if you were to think about it like elements. But then Swords is more air and mental, so it's like there is a lack of love, I feel, self-love or self acknowledgement. I feel like you've been running too much off of your kind of logical side or just your passions. There's no, like, we can have love without passion and passion without love. We always have that like flip-flop, but it's like you're running off of this fiery, passionate energy without putting your full self in there. I feel like there is a bit of lack in the self-love department now. Even if you're looking for love externally, you have to be able to give it to yourself. You have to be able to fill your entire cup up first before you can give it to another person. So I am getting an emphasis on trusting more, to have more patience with yourself, to kind of alter the lens you're looking through. And I do want to make a video on this. I'm planning to do it on my Patreon. If you want to check that out, please do. It is in the link in my channel description. And I may put it in the bio as well, if I remember. So, perception is such a huge thing in life, and as someone who experienced a perception shift, who I chose to change my perception because I was so tired of feeling fed up, you know what I mean? And I didn't think it was gonna work, but then when I just said, okay, but let's just give it a shot, I remember telling myself, it was like I imagined a much more wise me talking to this ego me, and I it changed my entire life. And this was only maybe a year, 2 years ago, no more than that. And all it takes in any circumstance to change it from poverty to of um, dissatisfaction is a perception change. And I'm gonna give you a quick example before I move off this subject. I've been really worried about a personal problem with career stuff. And I mean, I would constantly tell myself, well, yeah, we'll figure it out. It's fine. God has us. But in the back of my mind, I'd keep going back to kind of, but I feel at a loss. Like, I still feel like I'm lost. I don't get it. Like, that's what I just kept having, this mindset, this repeated narrative that I told myself. And I didn't realize I was getting into this narrative until suddenly I was in the bathroom, and I wasn't like on the toilet. I was just standing there looking in the mirror, and I glanced over, and I think I just stood there for a moment, and then the thought came over to me of perception. And I think I heard someone, I was listening to a video perhaps, and they said something about perception, and all of a sudden it clicked. It was like this light bulb that went off. Um it went from changing that perspective of we're struggling, we're at a loss, to I'm exactly where I need to be. And it was the belief in that. Like, you have to believe in the perception, you know? Like, I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm learning so many things right now, and I'm making a lot of progress. Like, not, like, limiting myself to believing in one circumstance or one sort of living type is so harmful and damaging, not only to my spirit, but like to what God has planned for me, because I have no idea the steps that it's going to take. I mean, literally, it can make no sense in the way that spirit works. And we have to remember that. We have to acknowledge that we, in our 3D earth bodies, have no idea what is in for us. So there's this emphasis that no matter what you're going through and how dire or even just how painful it may feel, depending on your circumstance, all it takes is a perception shift. And sometimes it's really hard to find that perception shift that really changes it, because we can tell ourselves a lot of things, but one, do we believe those things? And two, sometimes, although they may be true and we believe them, it's not what we needed. It's not the confirmation that our spirit needed at that time. Or it is, it's just, it served a purpose then. It's like we're gathering all these coins, and we're like, well, these coins don't make any sense. They're not even in order. But then 20 coins later, you find something and it goes in order now. Like, it all makes sense, you know? And that coin that you found how many coins ago now plays in, you know? So, again, perception. Yeah, so balancing those bits in yourself, I feel, is definitely emphasized right now. you may be the King of Wands for me, and a lot of the decks that I have, it's like this two-faced energy, but with this one, I feel it's less about two-faced energy and more just lack of emotions. It's the King of Wands, it's just like I almost imagine it the F-boy without being like a total douchebag, you know? Like, he doesn't really see anything wrong with just having multiple one-night stands and just kind of dipping the next day, you know? Like, okay, well, we're just gonna have a fun night, thanks, bye, you know? He doesn't see anything wrong with that. No feelings attached, no strings attached. And it's like you don't realize all this. Look how starky this is. Like, it's so sharp and dangerous around him. I feel like he doesn't even realize all the, or she, I'm just using whatever, but you don't realize all this stuff around you, that you built the walls so pointy that even if you wanted to climb them, it's gonna hurt. Or even if you wanted to leave your own walls, it's gonna hurt. So you kind of have to dig through the rumble, I feel like, metaphorically speaking, of your mind to find what kind of self-limiting beliefs are holding you back. What are holding you back from being happy, of having peace? Because peace is a choice. I've been reading a book here. So you should definitely read it if you're interested. It's a beautiful book, and it talks about some Buddhist type practices, but I specifically was reading in here of, it talks about being 100% there, as well as how should I explain this? One second. So the book talks about how every bit of life is a miracle in the beginning. How the smile of a child, the birds buzzing, the flowers, the air, the water, all of this, it is a miracle to exist and to be able to exist, even breathing. And it talks about how when we have a heavy heart, it is impossible for us to be 100% there. It is impossible for us to fully surrender to, as well as give love to others around us, to give our attention, to give our love, all of that stuff. And I feel like there's that emphasis there. Now, if you're interested in the book, I would totally recommend checking it out, but it really reminded me of just not being able to love because of the heaviness in your heart that I feel you can forget about. I mean, look at the fist that's clenched there. This person isn't happy. This person is holding a lot back, I feel, and it takes a lot to hold back. So yeah, I'm gonna get you guys some advice before moving on, and after that we'll close up the reading, okay, Gemini? I'm quite interested about this reading. It's a lot, but I feel you're a very strong person, and I do feel you are either in the process of kind of figuring this out, or you are very close to starting that process, and it may just take this video for you to realize that. And if so, I'm so glad that Spirit was able to contact you through me today. I'm so grateful to be able to share Spirit's messages and help others. It is such a blessing and a miracle to do this. Okay, so advice for Gemini Spirit. What do you have to say? Everything is fine. So, first of all, look at all these shards in the back. Second of all, stop telling yourself everything is fine. Stop lying to yourself. Step 1, stop lying. Step 2, pull those swords out, examine them. Why did they come there? Know the backstory. There's no use in ignoring the swords, because you know what? What's that gonna do? It's gonna cause problems. Realistically, if you were to leave a sword in there, it's probably gonna cause more internal damage. It's probably gonna get infected because you didn't clean the wound. And this is so metaphorical, but it can be implied in such a literal sense. It's like not examining the wounds, the emotional wounds that people give us, or even that we give ourselves, only allows for it to dwell deeper and deeper, and it gets so heavy on us that we can literally physically feel it. We feel it in our heavy chest, we feel it in a headache, we feel it in stomach pains, we feel it in aches and pain throughout our body. That tightness in your chest, in your throat, that arm feeling, like, it comes in so many things, and they're reminding you, take a look at what you are really not only consuming through food, entertainment, but the things that you're telling yourself, how you're handling your problems, how you're doing that. Yeah, because you have the ability to transmute all this pain into something really beautiful. I feel you have mastered your, or no, I should say, you're in the process. I don't feel like you have yet, or some of you may have, but I do feel like generally you're in the process of becoming this master spiritual as well as physical balance, so that way you can manifest in such a huge way. Like, that is so beautiful. They're just reminding you, like, keep that balance between your physical and 3D self, in the way that, know that you're here to serve a purpose, and you're here to live, you're here to love, you're here to have fun. Allow yourself to, for some of you it is to have more fun, and others of you it's to let go of just doing willy-nilly, and really set strictness for yourself to have a better life. Because if you're partying and, let's say, damaging your body with really harsh chemicals, drugs, or even just people, like the energetical effect that it can have, it's not good, you know? And we have to realize, or either entirely eliminate, which is usually the best and, depending on the circumstance, needed, but also, if we can't, to just limit ourselves, you know? Okay, interesting. Spirit, what else do you have to say before we wrap up this reading? The Lovers. So, balancing those energies within you, getting more love for yourself, not being tempted, not it's like turning a blind eye to, I shouldn't say that, I don't know how to word this in the right way, but like, you're turning away and you're refusing to give further energy to the temptations that kind of exist. It's like you're focusing on the fruitfulness, you're focusing on what you want instead, and Spirit's asking you to do that, and this will help lead you to your best outcome, I feel. Yeah, look, I'm telling you, more self-love, more nurturing your own cup. I mean, look how gentle she's caressing this cup. Mermaids may be very significant at this time, or just like to you specifically. This blue is very much sticking out to me, but like, there's this need for so much self-love I'm feeling. It's this compassion, this gentleness. I mean, I just so deeply got into this for a moment. I could feel the waves crashing up, the breeze, the just imagining the seagulls squawking in the distance. I mean, you can be so happy if you just allow yourself to open that emotional floodgate, and I feel like you don't want to do this because you know there's a lot of pain in there, or you've been focusing on the wrong emotions, and you're needing to kind of divert your energy to those more positive emotions instead of. I always think about looking at the past as something, okay, well, if I want to look at what I did wrong, I can do that, but I have to think instead, well, now that I did that, how can I do this better next time? If this situation were to come up again, how can I be prepared for it? How can I have more compassion or act out of more love? I mean, everything should be, every thought and every action should always be out of love. And out of love for yourself, for God, for universe, source, and for everyone involved. There's definitely that emphasis here, okay? So, yeah, I mean, holding this love for yourself, you nurture yourself to be such a beautiful person. This is just such an interesting reading because I feel like there is this energy of like, I imagine this can be metaphorical, and I don't mean this in any rude way, if this is like literally you, but I imagine someone who has the energy of what I imagine like a page to be in the set, of someone kind of immature, childlike, they act out of emotions. Sorry about that, we got interrupted, but I feel like nurturing yourself creates such a beautiful thing. Um, like as I was saying, the if you in the beginning it was like this immature page, but then we see this queen, like I imagine it as someone who is so much more compassionate and understanding of themselves so much deeper. Before, let's say this person may have went around and did things that hurt their energy, whether unknowingly or just uncaringly. It feels like going from a very forgetful, unmindful energy to a very mindful, loving, compassionate, deep energy. And that is so beautiful because I feel like it reflects in your outer environment. I mean, it will always reflect. Our internal mind makes our reality quite literally, okay? So this is so beautiful. Thank you so much for joining and listening to our reading. Look at the Ten of Cups. You guys will be so happy with yourself, with your friends, with your lovers, but just really take that time to nurture yourself. Alright, guys? So thank you so much and have a great time. Bye.